Okay, the main theme of the Mishnah was we had a few psulim. We had a few psulim, and the psul that we discussed first is the psul of it being higher than 20 amas, a sukkah that's higher than 20 amas. There are machlokas between the Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda. Tonight's daf is full of Yesodis. It's one after the other. Yesodistic of things that is really introductions to a lot of key concepts in the Masechta Sukkah. So it's nice that Baruch Hashem there are people here and people on Zoom. Now look at the Gemara, 2 lines to the bottom. Says Rashi, Piski Shmuas Hain, Shekol Bnei Yeshiva Shahim Midrasha Shel Reb Ashi Shesidru HaGemara. Now we're familiar. If I'd ask you who was Masad and Mishnayos, you tell me Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. He saw the Torah Shavuot Peh was going to be forgotten, and therefore he wrote down the Mishnah. What about the Gemara? The Gemara was Ravina and Ravashi. Ravina and Ravashi put the Gemara together. This is I don't remember seeing this. This is the lashon of. This was a set of in the base medrash as they were formulating the Gemara. This is a set of different piskei halachas, different shilas that came up. And Rashi is fascinating. This is the formation of the Gemara, and it's fascinating that it shows up here. So let's see the Gemara. So 2 lines from the bottom on Gimel Amid Beis. If the sukkah was higher than 20 amos. Now, usually, if something's higher, you lower it, right? But there's another way to do it. That's to build it up. In other words, if you build up from the bottom, we had this Masechta Eruvin regarding a curry that was too high, digging down, digging up. So you're going to go ahead and you want to use pillows and mattresses to go ahead and be mamayit. You can put pillows and mattresses in the sukkah, and as a result, what was 20 amas now will be 18 amas because you'll have a 2 amas high pillows and blankets. Mattresses. It's not a miyat. The afagav de batlina. And even though you say I'm leaving it there for 7 days, the chances are you're sleeping in the sukkah also, right? So it won't be such a strange thing. You say, even though I'm leaving there for 7 days, it's not common for people to do this. Butler daitzel eitzel kol adam. You go after the das of people, and even though you're being different over here, and you're saying no, I want to be mavatal it. Your bittel's no good. Bittel over here will go after people, and people do not leave their mattresses and pillows in the sukkah. Yeah.
Well, was good. It shouldn't be good because you're making the sukkah kosher after the fact.
The Tasav Leiminos, right? It's okay, but we'll speak about that privately. It's a big shayla in Rishayna. The whole thing, how does the whole thing work, right? Good. Now, you could say I'm making the sukkah right now. It wasn't the sukkah, I'm making it now.
Oh, you're making it
right. Now, Teven, now let's the different objects now with the same halacha. Teven ubitloi. Now, Teven, it would depend. Teven is fodder. You can use it for straw. You can use it for bricks. You can use it for mattresses. You can use it for animals. You can use it for a multitude of things. Now, in Teven ubitloi, you're filling it up with Teven, with straw, and you mevatel it. Have a miyot. That, in fact, would go ahead and go ahead and make the sukkah lower and thus making the sukkah kosher. The chol shekain offer, and certainly if Teven, then certainly offer, because offer is something that people certainly. Dirt is something people that are on the battle. Coach came up with a bit like, okay, what about this? Teven, straw. Ve'ein osir l'fnoisai. Let's see Rashi, 2 lines from the top. Teven ve'ein osir l'fnoisai. V'lo yitztarech l'fnoisai, kol yemei hachag. You don't need it. Maybe you're a contractor, you need it for bricks and you need it for cement, and obviously it's cholamoid, you're not going to work, so you're just going to leave it there, right? So you weren't mevatel it, but you left it there, and you had in mind, right, that you're not going to use it. Continues Rashi, butlu mamish bepiv. You weren't mevatel it with bepiv. Had you mevatel with pliv, certainly it would have helped, but over here you weren't mevatel with your piv. For offer stam, and offer you just left there, and you don't know if you're going to use it or not. So we have 3 objects, guys. We have korim v'kistos, we have teven, and we have offer. On the 2 extremes, offer is more mistaba that you mevatel it if because what are you going to use it for? On the other extreme, karam b'kistos, even bittul doesn't help. This middle thing about teven, if you're mevatel, it would help. What happens if you're not mevatel, but you're not mevatel? In other words, you're somewhere you're just going to use it. So now the Gemara is going to say that this is totally a machlokus between the Chachamim and Reb Yosi regarding Tumah V'Taira. So just a before we see it inside, we're not going to really see it inside. They're quoting here a Mishnah in Ohalos. Now, we might be familiar with that the mace, if a mace is in a house and you're in the house with the mace, you're tamei because you have the oil on mace. Right? What happens if you're outside the house? Let's say you're on the roof. Question, does the tumah by kaya, does it go ahead and break through and continue up or not? Well, it would depend. If there's a space of a chol tefach, then it does not. If the house is full, then yes. So here you have the situation is we're going to have where tevin, the house is filled with tevin, and you want to mevatel it, but so we're going to go ahead and take that concept by oilos and apply it to the tevin in the sukkah. The same concept. Says the Gemara. Tevin ve'ein asel if noisei ve'ofes stam machloikas Rabbi Yossi Rabbanan. That be dependent upon the machloikas and oilos between Rabbi Yossi Rabbanan and Mishnah laws. None. Bayis shemileu tevin oitzroiris, a house that is full of straw or tzroiris rocks, pebbles. That'll be offer. Ubitloi mevotel. If you mevatel it, it's bottle, and therefore the tumah would ostensibly go up, right? Because again, there's no airspace. Bitloi in, loy bitloi loy. The Tani Allah, and we said regarding this, we learned on this Mishnah, Rabbi Yossi Omer Tevin ve'inasel of Tevin, and you're not going to go ahead and use it. You aren't mevatel the piv, but you're not going to use it. That's our shaila. The Tevin's in the sukkah, but you're not going to use it. The Tani Allah, Rabbi Yossi Tevin. Harihu ka'afas stam ubato. Off of us, lif noisei harihu kastam Tevin v'leibato. So very geschmack. And the Chacham say on that you have to be mevatel. So in our Mishnah, in our Shaila, like Rabbi Yossi, Tevin, and you're not mevatel, but you're not mevatel, taka would be what? Just like it fills the house, it would fill the sukkah, and Memela the sukkah would be kosher. And the Chacham would say, there, do you have to mevatel it? Who? I think by sukkah, you'd have to be mevatel, and it's not a good sukkah. Very good. The sukkah is higher than 20 amis. So again, as we spoke out in the Hakdama to the Masechta, when we speak about a sukkah that's higher than 20, we're speaking about the airspace within the sukkah. We're not speaking about the walls. Sukkah is lashon schach. It means the schach. So you have over here, you have schach that's not kosher, but branches of this schach is going down into the sukkah, and those branches are below 20. And those branches are below 20. What's the halacha? So says the Gemara, again, fascinating. In silson meruba mechamasa, if in those branches there's enough to cover and create a covering where you'll have more shade than sun, than keshera. In other words, we're not going to consider the schach above 20 as schach. We'll only take into account those branches that go below 20. And if they qualify as full-fledged schach, why? Because silsa merub mechamsa, there's more shade than sun, it'll be kosher. The imlav, however, if you don't have enough in that, then psula, then it would be puzzle. So that's Ravi's din. So it says, go ahead. That would be the din. Did I say Rava? Why did I say Rava? I don't know why. I don't know. I'm sorry. The Mishnah says that's what it would be. Okay. So if we do away with the schach that's above 20, the one that's below 20, if it qualifies, it works out. Now, what about this case? The sukkah is 10 tefachim high. Is that a kosher sukkah? Good, yes. Said. The Mishnah said if it's below a 10, but 10 would be a good sukkah. And Stam is very interesting. 10 tefachim is not that high. So yet you see the sukkah, you go after yeshiva, you can't stand in a 10 tefach sukkah, guys. You can't stand it. Most people are 18 tefachim high. I can't even sit in it. Most people are 18 tefachim high, right? If there's six tefachim to an amma, and most people are 3 amas high, that's 18. So you have to be sitting there. But again, it's interesting. They used to sit on the floor with their they would lie, right? They would lie. That's a very good point, Mayor. They would lie. They would sit on reclining, right? So that would, but again, it's not very comfortable. But again, interesting to note that again, that would be so. Now the sukkah is bekoishi, it's what it is kosher. Now, for chutzin yordin letoich yud, and you have these branches going down mitoich yud. Good. Now, Savar Abaya Lemeimer, Abaya held to say the opposite. Im chamsa meruba mitzilasam, if those branches that are in the sukkah, that descended into the sukkah, if there's more sun than shade, shera, of course, we will go ahead and view that as if it's not there.
Right.
Again, just as with a 20 above, we just go away with the 20 and we keep the one that's inside. Over here, the one that's out of bounds, so to say, the one that's in the sukkah, as long as what? It's not kosher schach, we'll do away with it. And we'll say it's still a kosher sukkah. A kosher sukkah, that's what we'll say. That's what Rabbi held to say. Says Rava, here's why I brought in Rava. Says Rava, Amalei Rava, ha dira sruchahi. This is a dira srucha. Ve'ein adam dor b'dira srucha. And a person does not live in a dira srucha. A person doesn't live in a dira srucha. So, disgusting. Yeah, disgusting. You know, like meistic. Meistic is disgusting. Okay. Now, guys, listen, a very nice deal. I was learning my son today. He said, this din, does this mean that the sukkah is not a good sukkah? Or it means that it's the Rabbanan not a good sukkah? What's the shaila? It doesn't say that it's not a good sukkah. It doesn't say psula. It says ein adam dor b'diras rucha. In other words, this is totally in the gavra, not in the cheftza, not in the sukkah itself. Says the Rambam, Meya, I'm telling you from knowledge, not what you think. Says the Rambam, it's a din de Rabbanan. This din, the sukkah, since we're doing away with the schach is not still, it's chamsam rubit silsa, right? Schach's not there. And the 10th tefachim is the kosher sukkah, it's not a kosher sukkah. But it's dir Rabbanan asa. Why? Because ein adam dor b'diras rucha. That's the way one way to learn. And that's the hakpada. It doesn't say it's not a good sukkah. It says ein adam dor b'diras rucha. That's the problem. Yes.
It's supposed to be a dira.
What?
The whole point is it's supposed to be a dira.
Ein nachinami. The question again, but the question is we have halachas of what a dira is. So again, we have a dira aroy. We have a sukkah that's 10 tefachim. 10 tefachim. Again, you would not.
That's the point.
So again, that's what you say. Ein adam dar b'diras rucha is a diak of the lashon of the Gemara. The Gemara is making a diak the lashon. It didn't have to say that. It should, according to you, just say psula. It's just say it's not a dira. It doesn't say that. It says ein adam dar b'diras rucha. Just say it's not a dira. It doesn't say that. Ein adam dar b'diras rucha. That's as I state. Okay, so that's a very interesting idea. This idea of not living. We had a similar concept, guys. I didn't bring it in. I jumped it. Do you remember the other day we had a few opinions? We had Rabbi Shaya, Rav Huna, and Rav Rachana, and we said no one came out. Rabba was according to that it doesn't make l'schach, came out according to Rabba, and if it's for Amis, the sale, you make it wider, works out, came out according to Rav Zera. But Rav Chana said a sukkah of Zayin Amis doesn't come out according to anybody. So why is the puzzle then? What's the psul? So if you look at Tosfos, this is interesting. If you look at Tosfos on the base on the base, the fifth Tosfos down, Kiman deloikechad, v'divrei Reb Chanan bar Rabba tzricha taima. What's the reason it's puzzle? V'yesh mefarshim mishum dahavlei lul shel tarnagoyim. If it's less than zayin tfachim, it's a chicken coop. And keeping the Gavi Vikatini, since it's higher and it's thin, kuli high. Then it goes out, it leaves the gather of wool and becomes a sukkah. So Ken Zayin, in this Gemara over here, you could say the same thing. That just like you don't live in a chicken coop, you won't live over here. But like the Rambam, it's not a good sushtal to taste this. Because over there, it's not considered, it's not a sukkah. Over here, it is a sukkah, but you don't live in it. There, it was a chicken coop. Once it gets beyond Zayin Tfachim, it's yotzam chicken coop and becomes a sukkah, like Meir wants it right now. But the Gemara over here is meduyet vermi od. It doesn't say ein adam dar b'diras rucha. They don't have to say that. It should just say puzzle. It doesn't say that. Okay, just in the bimidayik in the lashon of the Gemara, it should be very, very careful that every word is kachik kedashim. All right, guys, this is an interesting shaila. Okay, unfortunately, there are many people here who are not going to see this, but again, they have pictures in their Gemara. You have a little picture there in your Gemara. Yeah, picture number 10. And I can't know how to send this. I really could probably. Steve, how do I send this out to everybody?
Yeah, Steve, send it out.
Right?
Yeah, say Steve, send it out.
Steve, send it out.
Say send it out.
Okay. Okay, sent it out.
But just connect on your phone. Connect on your phone.
On your phone, no?
Yeah, it's on your phone. It's on my phone. I mean, it's on my. If my computer's on the phone, right? Okay. Okay. Pirushka, yeah. So you have over here. You have over here a guy he built a platform. That platform is Zayin Tfachim b'Zayin Tfachim, guys.
It's on the signal, the Daf signal.
It's on the, it fills up the back wall. There's a middle wall. There's 3 walls to a sukkah. Rashi says the 4th wall is the opening. That's where you go in. So let's say you're going from south to north. It fills up the whole north wall, and it connects to the east and western walls. Good. Okay, now
So 20-foot sukkah?
that's 20 amas high, right? So now by having from that area, that platform and above, l'chayra, it's less than 20. Okay, it's less than 20. Got it? It's less than 20. Listen, fast, guys, fascinating Gemara. So this is what he says. So now, it's higher than 20 amas. Ubonaboy it's staba, and you built a platform. Keneged doifen emtsoi, in my scenario on the northern wall, and I'll play kula. It's across the whole northern wall, and it's 7 by 7, so it's taking up 7 tefachim of the east and western wall. V'yesh bo hechshe sukkah. It's 7 tefachim by 7 tefachim. Ksheira. It's kasha. What's kasha, guys? Which part is kasha? Why would you say only that part or the whole sukkah? You know, whichever you guess is going to be wrong, right? What says Rashi? Says Rashi. Ksheira. Kol sukkah. The whole sukkah is kasha. Even the part that's still 20 amas high from the ground is kasha. Sheyesh lo gimel defanais. It has 3 walls. I'm reading Rashi. V'hai hechshe sukkah afilu min et stava b'halah. And this hechshe sukkah, guys, is even from the platform and outwards, going south. The maninon chalala meirosh et staba. We count the airspace from the top of the platform umayla and go upwards. V'nimtza doifenem tsoi kulei kasha. The whole northern wall is kosher. U'defanas hatstadim b'rochiv et staba huchshruba. And the east and western walls, that's 7 tefachim, are also kasha, because you have 7. Yes, if they're not, they're less than 20. Harikan sukkah katana, you have a ksheira, you have a full-fledged sukkah. V'amina lekamon, guys, this is a concept that we're going to get to. I'm introducing it tonight. Psal hayotzim min sukkah nidoin kisukkah. Psal, literally something that extends, an extension of the sukkah is nidoin kisukkah. So in that picture, in picture 10, not only in the Itztaba, guys, but even area Dalit over there where it's 20, it's still kosher, because this is an extension of that sukkah. An extension of the sukkah is a psal sukkah, and therefore it is kosher. Great halacha. Great halacha. Okay.
According to the Rabbi that said that once you can't see.
Would that be the equivalent to what love it is to the walls?
We're not doing
Extends
love.
the whole sukkah.
No love it. Yeah.
Rabbi said that when Rabbi said if it's 20 hours you can't see the schach.
Right.
So
According to there.
you won't see the schach on that part.
Again, it's fine. It's an extension of a kasha sukkah. No, it's extensive
Because over there it's
because
kosher.
there it's kasha.
How far, let's say you go 30 feet, 40 feet, or it has to be a certain amount?
I would think the whole thing. I would think once you have a kasha sukkah, it extends its psal. Again, and I haven't done the Gemara yet, but I would think so. Next picture. The next picture is a picture where it's on the side. It's only on one wall, guys. It's on the east wall or the west wall, right? East wall, west wall, correct? So it's only filling up one wall. You got 2 walls. It's 7 tefachim into the north wall and covering the whole eastern wall. Good. Now, what's the din over there? And we're going to introduce a new concept. Uminat sad im yesh misfas itztaba lekoisel Dalet Amis. If you have from the edge of the platform to the other wall, to the western wall, opposite east, Dalet Amis is psula. Pachas me arba amis is kashera, but less than arba amis is going to be kosher. My kamash malon, the amrinon dofin akuma. Okay, there you say dofin akuma. Guys, look at picture 41. Look at picture 41. Make it a little bigger. Look at the top of picture 41. Your itztab is over here, right? You have less than 4 amis from your itztaba to the western wall. You're going to view the top of the wall as if it's okum, if it's what this is halachal mashmi Sinai, and the sukkah will be kosher, but it only will be kosher underneath the schach. The less than 4 amis, guys, that's underneath a wall. The wall is curving. That's called doifin akuma, a curved wall. And so therefore, in this case, as opposed to the first case.
Which wall is curving? Is it the left one or the right?
The left.
It is the left because this is
The left, the top.
Right.
Left at the top. You see the top,
Yeah,
Chaim?
with
Where the arrow is?
yeah.
You see where the arrow is? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
where the arrow is, right? So therefore, that's where that's called doifin akuma. It's and again, let's see Rashi over here. It's for introduction. It's a very famous concept. Minat sad says Rashi kigoin in bonnet staba play echad you build the itztaba on one of the sides, not the middle, the sides. In this case, we said the eastern side. Im yesh misfas itztaba ul. If you have from the edge of the platform to the kaisel, hasheni to the western wall, sherchiku mimenu dalet amis psula. You only took care of 2 walls, guys. The eastern wall and the 7 amis and 7 tefachim into the northern wall. If it's on the that is within arba amis, if it's arba amis less than mashu, we will be mashu the sukkah. We'll view the schach that's on top from the wall that's a distance away. If it's part of the wall, so again, so you have in that picture, guys, it's all schach on top, right? Look at my hands. This part is where I put the tztaba. Here's the tztaba. Tztaba is this, and over here. So what's above this area is the schach, right? If it's less than 4 amis, what we're going to do is we're going to say this schach is not there. What's there? This wall, and therefore up until where this wall extends in the sukkah, you'd have a kosher sukkah.
Why don't you say the same thing you did when it's in the back? That it extends the whole way.
You have 3 walls. You don't have to create a wall. You have 3 walls that there.
No, but you're saying that the whole sukkah, you can't sit under that part.
What are you talking about?
You can
When
sit
when it's on the back wall, right, the northern wall, you don't need doifin akuma
I understand, but we said in that case, the whole sukkah is kosher.
because of psalis, a
Right.
different halacha.
Right, so why didn't we say psal here? You can sit the whole sukkah is kosher also.
Where you're going to say that you don't have psal,
Why?
what? Because the top part is not a sukkah; it's a wall.
You said this, the
Over there, you have schach over. No, that schach's not schach. It's a doifin now. It's a wall.
Now it's a doifin.
Take a look at the picture. You see, they took the schach, they made it into a wall. They make it's a wall. It's a wall. It's not a sukkah. Rashi just said it. We'll view the schach as if it's not there, and we'll view it as a wall. Lashon Rashi, right? Kilu he mina doifin. We're going to view the schach as if it's from the doifin. The nekama doifin. Guys, you good? May you good? Great. Okay, so this is the. Okay, where are we? Next round. Okay. Fred the Gemara, look at picture 44. The Gemara wants to know the following. Why you're telling me Dofin Akuma? Why? We know that. It's a Mefurish Mishnah. Says the Gemara. My Kamashon, Davina Dofin Akuma, Tanina, you learned Dofin Akuma. Bias Shenifchas, a bias that the ceiling fell in. Picture 44, guys. The ceiling fell in. the sikach al gabov, and you threw schach on top of it. Im yesh min hakoisel the sikach dalet amis. If you have from the schach to the wall dalet amis psula, hapachas mikan keshera, pachas mikan, it will be kosher. Good. So what's the chiddush of Rav Ashi? It's a Mishnah, guys. Take picture 44. It's kosher if there's less than 4 amis from the wall to the hole. You can say dofen akuma. So what's this chiddush? What are you telling me? What's the chiddush? Everything I'll tell you the chiddush. Ma'udetema hasam hu dechaze ledoifen. Over there in that picture, the walls were good walls. They were less than 20 amis high. Aval hachad lechaze ledoifen. Over here, where they're not a good wall for a kosher sukkah because they're 20 amis high, emaloi, I would say not. Kamash malon, that what? That even al yidei doifen akuma, I can make it a kosher sukkah. I will. So in other words, there's a big difference. By the house in picture 44, all the walls were in 20 amis, so they're a full-fledged wall. So doifen, take a full-fledged wall and be akamit. Over there is above 20, right? Above 20, so I'm going to go ahead right and put kamash malon. Then you can put it down. Okay. Now, next case. Next case is picture 45. Here you have a sukkah. Here you have a sukkah, and you put in the middle a platform, and you want to build it up, right? You want to build it up from there. So that area is going to make it less than what? Than Zion Amis. It's going to be less than the Zion Tfachim, right? It's going to be less than 20 Amis. So now, so you put an itztaba in the middle. Im yesh misfas itztaba ledoifen. If you have from the edge of the itztaba, from the edge of the platform ledoifen, arba amis l'chol ruach, ruach psula, pachas me'ababas kashera. So again, the same halacha, right? You have what you did is, instead of doing it one-sided, you're in the middle, and you're, let's say, in the middle, and now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's less than 4. We're going to say doifen akuma, bump, 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 like that, and it's going to go up. Says the Gemara. What's the chiddush over here? Right? My kamash malon damina doifen akuma hainu hach. That's exactly what we just said. So after the Gemara, now the tema doifen akuma meruach achas amrinon aval kol ruach v'ruach loy. I would say maybe the halacha must be seen is only by 1. Kamash malon what? It's by all 4. Guys, we're all good? We're all good, right? Baruch Hashem. So the introduction, again, the Yisaidus we saw this evening, the sukkah stick Yisaidus is psal, that if an extension of a sukkah has a din of a sukkah. We'll see it more be'iyah when we get to Daf Yotes. And doifen akuma, the idea of putting a wall in. Now, there's another concept called lovud. Lovud is a very famous term we met in Erevin, right? Anything that's within 3 tefachim is considered closed. Anything within 3 tefachim is considered closed. Let's say the sukkah was less than 10 tefachim. The sukkah was less than 10 tefachim, and you went ahead and you dug down. You went ahead and you dug down. Okay, I don't think I have it over here. What? It's, I don't know. It's hard. 47.
46 and 47.
Okay, so here's 46. Picture 46. You have a sukkah. The walls are less than 10. So it's not a good sukkah. You're digging down now. And now in that area, in that ditch, you will be more than 10. What's the halacha? Okay, in that area, you'll be more than 10. What's the halacha? If from the edge of the chakak, of the ditch to the koisel is gimel tfachim, if it's what? If it's more than gimel tfachim, then psula. Pachas mishleish tfachim kishera. If it's less than 3 tfachim, it'll be kasha. Maishna hasam the amit pachas me'arba amas. Umaishna hacha the amit pachas mishleish tfachim. What's the difference? Again, over there, you needed to create a wall, you needed 4 amis, and here you need 3 tfachim to create a wall. What's the difference? Says, what is the big difference? Hasam the isyul doifin, over there where you had an existing wall, and all you had to do with the existing wall was to bend it. Pachas me'abar amis saya. Less than 4 amis is enough. Hacha over here, l'shavya l'doifin, to create a wall. Pachas mishleishet tfachim in Eloi loy. If not. Fellas, what's if you have a sukkah that has walls that are 20 amis high, do you have a halachic wall? Yes or no? That means whatever goes like this, it means yeah. I'm not setting you up. The psul is airspace, guys. You don't have airspace in the sukkah. You don't have whatever the reason is, Rabbi, you don't have it, right? The Saroy, Sale, Magila, stock, right? You can't see it. But you have a wall. We learn Masechta Erevin. We learn Masechta Shabbos. 10 tefachim is a wall. 10 tefachim is a wall. Anything that's 10 tefachim is a wall. You have 3 walls of 10 tefachim, you got a full fresh Rosh Hashanah. That's a wall. It's a wall. 20 amis certainly is a wall. It's not a kosher sukkah, but it's a wall. I just therefore have to take that existing wall and bend it in. It's called a wall that it always was. It's akum, and through that akim was through that curvature, I'm creating a kosher sukkah. Conversely, when you don't have 10 tefachim, it's less than 10. You dig down, you can't go ahead and be akum that wall. It's not a wall. It's not a wall. What's the only thing that can create a wall? My ditch that's less than that, with combining the ditch with the wall, if I can somehow make them meet, then I'll have a wall, because it'll be more than 10 tefachim as a combination of the material wall and the ditch. In order to go ahead and transverse an area, what do I need? Gimel tefachim of love. That's the difference between geschmack. Geschmack. Okay. It says the Gemara weiter. It's higher than 20. Ubana by Amud shu gavoya asar tefach. And you build one that's higher than what? Than 10 tefachim. Okay. That's the next page. Here we go, guys. Picture 57. 57. 57. 57. Here you go. You have, it's higher than 20, and you're building a platform there in the middle, and that platform is going to be 10 tefachim. Why 10 tefachim? Because you need walls, right? 10 tefachim is the wall. So you have a cubicle in the middle of 10 tefachim. Good? You have a cubicle.
You don't have any walls there?
You have no wall. You have outside walls. You're in a sukkah that is 20. The walls that you have are no good because they're 20 amas high. You now put in the middle, you put something that is a box.
Open inside. Open.
No, it's just a box. No, it's not open. It's 10 tefachim high. It's a cube. It's 10 tefachim high. So let's see the din. The sukkah is higher than 20. Ubana by amud shu gavoya asar tefachim. And you build an amud that is 10 tefachim high. V'yesh by hechshes sukkah. It's 10 tefachim high, and it's zayin by zayin, guys. So its width and its length is that of a sukkah. It's zayin tefachim by zayin tefachim, and its height is 10. What do you gain by a hat being 10? You now have a dofen. You have a wall, as we just spoke out. You have a wall. 10. No, you're not close to the walls. You're not close to the walls. No, you're not close to the walls. So now, what are you going to do? Savra Rabbi Lamema, the second time Rabbi held to say, Savra the second time in the daf we had, Savra Rabbi Lamema, good asik mechitzta. Now, guys, Allah Sinai called good achis, good asik. Good asik is when it goes up. Good achis is when it goes down. So now you see in the picture, what did he do? He made an invisible thing. You have an existing wall, you have 10, right? So now I will go ahead and view that wall. I have a sukkah. That cubicle is a sukkah. Why? The walls are 10. I just have to extend it up to the schach. Use schach. I sound like about you. Taking the halacha of good ach asik mechitzta. I'll view them up, and what? It'll be kosher. It'll be kosher sukkah.
Sit on that cube.
Yeah, it'll be kosher sukkah. Where's my wall? Where's my wall? Since it's 10 tefachim high, and I say good asik, so now I'll take this and project it up, and great. It's wild, right? I'll tell you, Gemara's packed, guys. Gemara's packed. It's gewaldig. It's packed.
As long as no walls.
Right. So halachic sukkah, maybe. 1 second. No, you just said something. Why did you say Shragi? There's mamish no walls here. Amalei Rava. Amalei Rav Shragi. The Indian mechitzas hanikaros veleka. You need mechitzas nikaros. It's not enough to have a virtual wall in this case. For a sukkah, you need a real wall. For a sukkah, you need a real wall. This is not a real wall.
We were able to shut the water with no real wall. We used 14 different.
The Yumdim?
Yeah, no, if you did is going down this way and going down, you're able to take the water from up.
But you had Chulya Sabar there. You had something around it. I thought you were speaking about Pasi Berois. I'm talking
about the famous picture that we used for good achas, good asik, and then he ended up having no walls, but he's able to shut the water from. I guess, but for sukkah you actually need walls.
You need walls. So the sukkah you need walls.
Yeah,
it's not enough.
The porch.
Oh no, but a porch you had the thing going down, right? You had walls, but you had walls there, right? Yeah, but you're right. You're right. You go over the porch with the things going down, and also that's also cooler than made by Mayim. If you remember,
right.
There's a cooler than made by Mayim. And return Rabbanan. Noyetz abor kundisin. You went ahead. You took four kundisin, 4 poles, besikach al gaban, and you put schach on top of them. Rabbi Yaakov machshir b'chachamim paislan. Rabbi Yaakov says it's kosher, and he says what? It's not. He says Rabbi Yaakov says it's kosher, and he says what? It's not. Okay, what's the case? It's so hard. Okay, have the 58. You see, you're going to view those things as the walls, as he's showing those black letters there. Machloikis al sfas hagag. Machloikis is when it's on picture 60, right? Picture 60. When it's al sfas hagag. The machloikis is when it's al sfas hagag, picture 60. The Rabbi Yaakov Savar meaning good asik mechitzta. We're going to say, guys, the walls. It's on the corners, so we're going to say those walls go up, and they connect to the top. And Rabbanan Sabri lo yamin good asik mechitzta. Therefore, it's puzzle. Avol be'emsa agag, in the middle of the roof, picture 61, right? Picture 61. Divrei akol psula. Everyone's going to say it's puzzle because you can't say good asik over here. Why? You don't have walls. The walls are a distance away. I was wondering, why don't we say Gimel? Why don't we say Lovewood and then Good Asik? You don't say that. Good Asik, it has to be even. It has to be even. You can't go ahead and say, because it doesn't work. Good Asik works when it's Good Asik is we take the wall and we view it going up. But to go take the wall and go this way and this way, that we don't do. Okay. So therefore, you want this is Rav Huna's pshat. Rav Huna wants to say Machloikis between Rav Yaakov and the Chachamim is only when it's at the edge. But when it's what? When it's at the edge. But when it's in the middle, then everyone would hold what that it is no good. Rav Nachman says the emsa hagag machloikis, in the middle of the gag is a machloikis. That's what machloikis is. Right now, iboylahu beemsa hagag machloikis avos fasagol divyakol sheira. The Chacham would agree to say good asik. Idilma bein bezu machloikis. Maybe by both. And the Gemara says what? The Gemara says teku. Gemara says what? Teku. Meisrei. Noyetz dalin kondisin ba'aretz. Until now, we've been speaking about the roof. What happens if you put it on the ground? What happens if you put it on the ground? You're putting them in the ground. And take a look, guys. We have over here. Why am I going backwards? Should we go going forwards? I don't understand these people.
59, 59.
So now what you're doing is those poles you're going to cut off. You're going to see you can cut off an area if you can hollow out a diyumid. Now diyumid is a lashon of 2, And we had this by Pasi Berois. You might remember we had the pit that was in Rishus it was in Rishus Rabbin, but it had it in Rishus Yachid. And there's a problem taking the water, shepping the water out of the thing. Shepping means to pull it out. You pull it out. So you had to go ahead and make these. They were Amma by Amma guys. These were two Ammas. But over here, Rabbi Yaakov holds a tefach would create a wall. Yeah, there's a tefach would create a wall. So it says the following. You take noise dal conducing baretz v'sikach al gabon Rabbi Yaakov machshir b'chachamim poistin fed gemara v'oretz to ke'emsa agag dami. The oretz is no different than the kemsa agag. Why? There's no gedasik. It's a flat, right? It's not. You don't have walls. You don't have walls. V'kamachshir Rabbi Yaakov and Rav Huna. You wanted to say what? Be'emsa agag. Everyone's mind is no good. Yet we see over here the same scenario. It's like Shrag. You hear why it's Memsa Agag? There's no walls over here. It's a flat plain. And nonetheless, Rabbi Yaakov is still saying it's kasha. Kasha Rav Huna. Tiyuf to Rav Huna. Tiyuf. It's not Shag Rav Huna. V'oid. I'll give you another kasha Rav Huna perhaps. V'oid be'emsu the pligi aval asfas Agag devya kol kshera. Let me have it tiyuf to Rav Huna b'tarti. Let's see. It's a machlokes Rabbi Yehuda b'tarti because this is a machlokes by the ends of the wall at well. Rav Huna says they argue in the middle, they argue and the ends of the well. So why they argue in the middle? Tell me a big chiddush. Even when we don't say gurasik, he says it's kosher. Again, what svara would he say it's kosher? Using this concept of the diyumdim, right? That you're going to hollow out the boards and have a tefach this way and a tefach this way. And he says even though by Pasi Beroish you need an Amma, by Sukkah, the tefach would be enough. Ton Rabbanan. Noyetz arbe kundosim ba'aretz v'sichach al gaban. Rabbi Yaakov Ameroyin kol shili yachakaku v'yachloiku. If you can go ahead and engrave, meaning hollow out from a round piece of wood and divide to two parts. V'yesh mem tefach lekan, a tefach in one direction, tefach lekan, and the right angles. Nidun yim mishum diyumit. You have a din of diyumit. V'im lav ein nidun mishum diyumit. Shari Rabbi Yaakov Omer diyumit sukkah tefach. The human of a sukkah is tefach. So Yaakov's guy is the biggest maker. You know, if according to Yaakov you make a sukkah, you just have little two L brackets, and you would have nothing in the middle. That's and put something on top. That's it. However, the Chacham say no. The halacha must be seen. It's different. Says the Chachamim, right? Oimim ad sheyuk shtayim kil chasan. You need 2 kil chasan. Ushlish is afil tefach mamish gevaldige paktaf. Thank you all for listening.
Shkoyach, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, 1223 East 31st Street. We will be davening mincha at 7 o'clock, followed by a siyum and suda, and then we'll daven ma'ariv afterwards and say share after that. Okay, so 1223. What? Heshi mentioned his message. You shouldn't daven mincha.
Can you put the address out in the chat? Can you put the address on the chat?
We'll put the address on the chat. Yeah.
Thank you.